Here we go. Oh. Or sit on a cushion. Just with your hips up, coming into a comfortable position. So getting comfortable first, just taking a few minutes to settle into the room, into the space. Maybe taking a few deep breaths, breathing in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth, if that feels good. Maybe just 3 deep breaths. If it's comfortable to close your eyes, close your eyes. And then check your posture, lifting up through the crown of the head. Feeling a nice lengthening or a nice erect spine. Shoulders relaxed away from your ears. Hands resting comfortably on your legs. Relaxing the face. And then just focusing on the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then picture yourself. So maybe you can see yourself in the mirror. Picturing yourself in the mirror. And maybe take a few moments, think about something maybe that you've been struggling with, whether it's something physical or emotional. It could be things like grief or loss or anger, or maybe just self-doubt, or maybe you've been hard on yourself lately. Or maybe physically you haven't been 100%. And see if you can get a really good image of yourself. As you breathe in and out, just repeat to yourself silently, may I know love. May I know love. May I know help. May I know help. You can also say, may I be healthy. May I feel safe. May I feel safe. May I be at peace, or may I know peace. And just come back to your breath. Now bring to mind the kind of the first person that pops up into your mind, a person that you care deeply about. It doesn't necessarily have to be a spouse or a child. It could be a friend or a neighbor, a sibling, someone that you care deeply about. Picture that person, see that person, and then repeat to yourself, may they know love. May they know love. Keeping that person's image in your mind. May they be healthy. May they be healthy. May they feel safe. May they feel safe. And may they know peace. May they know peace. And then letting go of that image of the person that you care deeply for. Think of someone who is a little more difficult to be around, to have a conversation with, someone who really kind of pushes your buttons. Doesn't mean you don't like them or love them. It's just a difficult relationship that you might have with someone. Picture them in your mind's eye, see their face, and then you tell them, may they know love. May they know love. May they feel safe. You can say to them, may you feel safe. May you feel safe. May you know health, or may you be healthy. May you be healthy. And may you know peace. Picturing them and wishing them peace. And then letting that image of that person go. And then thinking about our planet, our world. So all of our resources, our environment, all the different cultures, places that are suffering, maybe with war or other kinds of suffering, poverty. You just picture our beautiful earth and all the people on our planet, and maybe no love. Planet and all its people, no love. And our planet and all the people feel safe. planet and all of the people feel healthy. And our world and all the people in our world know peace. And take a nice deep breath in, deep breath out. And if your eyes are closed, maybe rub your palms together, create a little bit of warmth, bring your hands over your eyes, and slowly open your eyes into your hands so you can see yourself first. Get used to the light. Slowly bring your arms down and just notice how you're feeling. So that took about 10 minutes, believe it or not. So you just did 10 minutes of meditation. So if you haven't meditated before, congratulations, you did 10 minutes of meditation, a guided meditation. So keeping those feelings of compassion, and that's really what mindfulness meditation is about, is cultivating a sense of having compassion. The hardest thing is to have compassion for ourselves. It's easy sometimes to feel compassionate towards others, to other causes, to other people, especially I find, especially women and mothers who are caretakers, right? But to find that compassion for ourselves is always a little bit harder. So keep the compassion flowing in you for yourself as we move in our practice today. So just an invitation to do that. So let's start by just rolling our shoulders back in little circles, coming out of that seated stillness. And then just bring our arms out. Let's roll our shoulders back this way using the weight of our arms, nice and slowly. And then let's rotate the shoulders to the front. And then let's bring our arms down to the sides. Let's take our right arm up and just come into a nice simple side bend. So starting slowly, feeling that stretch on the side of the body. And then taking your head, looking down at the mat or at your hand on the mat, the left hand, and then looking up to the ceiling. So just making some little rotations with the neck down to the ceiling, up to the ceiling and down to the floor. You're just rotating the neck slowly. And then release that hand down to the side, bring the other arm up, come into a side bend on this side. And same thing here. Once you come in to that side bend, slowly look down to the floor and then rotate looking up to the ceiling. And down and up. I'm just making a few of those little rotations with the neck and then releasing back to the center. Let's just bring our left arm over to our right knee. Take the right arm and just move it a little bit behind you. And then look over the shoulder. And then move into your twist slowly. So feel the twist happening from the base of the skull down to the spine without pulling with that left hand. So just create that twist in your spine without pulling yourself into it. Take some breaths here. And then release back to the center, and then take the right arm to the left knee, the left arm a little bit behind, gently looking over the shoulder without pulling. Create a little bit more of a twist. And then release back to center. And then we're going to extend the left leg, keep the right knee bent. We're going to hug that left knee, and we're going to do that same twist, looking over the shoulder. Now, if you feel really twisty, you can also take this arm under and through the leg. You can hold it there if you want. If you can take it on top if you want to. There's lots of ways, but try to keep this knee up. So try not to let it extend out, and keep the opposite foot flexed. So creating that twist, trying not to pull, just let that hand rest there. Now, if creating a twist from the neck down doesn't work, try to create the twist from the base of the spine up. So you can try it that way too. That might feel a little bit different in your body, or a little bit easier to create. And then come back to the center. And then one last time, just take that foot across. And we're going to just stay in that twist. All we do is move that foot. And moving that twist from the base of the spine all the way up, or from the base of the skull all the way down. Now you might feel this a little bit in your hip as well. And again, I'm kind of pulling, but I'm not really pulling. I'm not pulling myself into the twist, but my hand is holding me in this position. So there's kind of a difference. See if you can feel that difference. And then release back to the center, extend both legs, and then just give them a little up and down shake here. Circle your ankles maybe, and other direction. And then we're going to bend the left knee, give that a little hug. And we're going to come into that twist on the other side. Keeping the opposite foot extended, and again, maybe twisting from the base of the spine up, or from the top of the spine down. Breathing deeply. Holding onto the knee without pulling it. And then releasing back to the front, taking that foot across, hugging that knee, sitting nice and tall. You can also come underneath if you want, and come into the twist. I find when I come underneath, I don't pull as much or want to pull. And then breathing deeply. And again, you might feel this now in your left hip. And releasing back to the center, extending your legs, giving them a little shake again. And then taking your right foot into the left hand and doing some leg cradles. Now, if you want to fold this leg, if that feels better, and we want to do it, come back into a easy pose, you can do that, or you can just keep that opposite leg straight. We're just moving our hip side to side in the socket. Good. And then take your same hand, so take your right hand, and just grab the bottom of the foot. And then just play around a little bit. It could be very little tiny stretches, just moving that knee out a bit, stretching it in different directions. You don't have to come all the way out, just giving it a little stretch. And then release that side. Gradually warming up, come to the other side, cradle this leg, moving it side to side. Beautiful. And then take the same hand and again, just play around with some movement. Release, give those legs a little shake, and then bring your feet, soles together. Come into a seated butterfly, or sometimes I learned it as butterfly. Most classes I take, they call it cobbler. So try to have a straight spine here. So if you're going to lean forward, you're leaning forward from the hips to hold on to the feet, or you're just grabbing onto your ankles or your shins, wherever feels good. Just giving yourself a little flutter of your legs. So again, still working with those hips, fluttering up and down. And then squeeze the knees up towards the elbows. Hold here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press the legs to the floor. Inhale, squeeze them up. Exhale, press them down. One more time. Inhale up. And exhale, press them down. And flutter. Beautiful. Now, keeping the left leg in, extend the right leg out. Now, if the left leg is really up like this, so if you're really tight in here and the left leg is up, just take your block, make sure you just rest it on a block or turn the block down. It's okay if it's up a little bit, as long as it's not, bothering you. Otherwise, just stick that block underneath. I have it kind of underneath the thigh, not really directly on the knee. And then inhale, we're going to reach up, flex the right foot from the hips, just start to reach out. Doesn't matter how far you reach. And then let your head, your hands, everything melt towards the leg. And just breathe deeply. Bring your hands alongside, arms alongside the ears, and reach back up. Release that side and extend the left leg. And then bring the right leg in. And again, if it's not on the ground and you want to use your block, you can use your block. Flex the left foot. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale from the hips, folding forward, grabbing the leg wherever it's comfortable. Relaxing the head and neck, the arms. Just breathing deeply. Bring your arms by the ears, reaching out and back up. And releasing the arms. And then giving the legs a little shake. We're going to take them out a little wider. So just out at a V. And then we're going to take our hands, we're going to place them in front of us, and we have a nice straight spine, a nice straight back. Good. So maybe this is as far as you go. Maybe this feels good. If you can, maybe walk out a little further. Try to keep the back straight. We still have that nice straight back. And maybe you come out a little further. And when you feel like, okay, this is as far as I go, you're feeling that stretch in the inner thighs, then just relax. Let your head relax. Let everything relax towards the center. Keep the feet flexed. Take some nice deep breaths into those inner thighs, breathing deeply in and out. Maybe you feel yourself relaxing a little bit more towards the floor and you inch your hands out a bit more. Maybe not. And then just start to take your hands, kind of bring them back towards you, coming back up to a seated position. And then where you're at, just bend the knees. We can lean back a little bit and just do some little windshield wipers. Okay, we're going to move into our cat-cow. You're welcome to stay here in a seated position for cat-cow. Otherwise, you can come onto your hands and knees for cat-cow. So exhaling into our cat. Inhaling into our cow. Moving nice and slow to start. Really warming up the spine. And maybe breaking it down. Not only coordinating the movement with your breath, but also really feeling the hands pressing into the mat. And as you come into cat, you feel the shoulder blades separate, arching that upper back. And as you come into cow, maybe you feel the shoulder blades squeeze towards each other. And then take some awareness to the pelvis and feel the movement in the pelvis as you come into cat and cow. Let's do 2 more cat-cows. Come into tabletop after that. And then in our tabletop, we're going to take our hands 1 hand length out in front. And then just let your head drop between your hands without touching the ground. Keeping the arms nice and long. Stretching underneath the shoulders, the back. And then coming back up, repositioning the hands underneath the shoulders. And then just taking the right leg back and stepping the toes on the mat. And then just press back a little bit, stretching the calf of the right leg. Come back to tabletop, stretch the left leg back. Press the toes in and stretch the back of the left leg. And come back into tabletop. Take the right arm and just reach it through as far through as you can, and then see if you can bring your head towards the mat, or you can bring it on a block. You can feel the stretch in the back of the right shoulder. And release back into your tabletop. And then you might want to do the same thing on the left. We're going to take that left arm and reach it through as far as we can, bringing the right ear, cheek, side of the head to a block or to the mat. The left, sorry, you're on the other side. And then release back into tabletop. So option here, a couple of different things you can do. You can tuck your toes and reach those hands out and drop your head to the mat. You can also drop the forearms to the mat if that feels better, coming into a puppy dog pose. You can also come back into a child's pose. Or you can start to press the toes in, lift the knees, and come into a down dog just to play around with it a little bit. Just pressing, pedaling the feet, seeing if you get your heels to the mat. And then just come back into our tabletop one more time. From here, tuck your toes, walk your hands back so that you're either kneeling or you're standing up like this, either one, doesn't matter. Interlace your fingers, circle the wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Sweep your hands back out, back into tabletop. And one more time, come into puppy dog, or lift the knees and come back into down dog, pedaling the feet. And shift forward again, or rise back up into your tabletop. Keeping the toes tucked, walk the hands back one more time, either kneeling like this or kneeling up. Interlacing the fingers, circling the wrists again, and other direction. Come back into your tabletop. Last one we'll do in this position. So you're going to take your right leg and you're going to bring it behind you. Okay, so it's just like you're going to pivot your toes, like you're opening a little hinge here. And then this leg stretches out long, coming into gate pose. So the left leg is long. You're in the left arm could be up. It could be tucked behind you. The right foot and lower part of the leg is at a 90-degree angle. And then you have an option here if you want to lift that other leg and maybe bend it back. And then you can also start to reach over with the arm, holding, and release. Take the left foot down, the left arm, and then pivot that right foot back and the knee. Tuck your toes, come back up, give your shoulders a little circle. Sometimes that's a little hard on our shoulders. And then we'll do the other side. So we're going to take the left foot back. The right leg extends long, and the right arm comes up, or we tuck it behind us. Whatever feels good. Taking some breaths. Falling over is okay. Remember compassion, kindness to your body. Whatever's happening with it today is fine. Maybe this side doesn't look like the other side. You can lift that leg if you want. You don't have to. You can reach the arm over. You don't have to. Taking a breath. One more breath. And then lower that leg. Pivot back around into your tabletop. And then just come into a nice wide leg forward fold or child's pose. And if you want, take your arms behind you this time. Just opening the shoulders a little bit. And you can release and roll back up. You can take a moment in kneeling or sitting before you come up to stand. If you want to, you can just take your time. And then you can come up to stand. Maybe take a drink if you need. So let's continue working with that, with the hips a little bit and lower back. We'll take our feet a little wider than hips distance apart, and maybe your toes are pointing out at 45 degrees. And then we're going to take our circles like this. So it's almost like we're coming to the side, and then we're going to come to the front, and then we're going to come to the other side. And then we just make a little tiny back bend, very small. The focus here is more on that side movement to the hips. So side, we come around to the front. It's almost like shake the dragon's tail. Dragon shakes its head and tail to eliminate heart fire in Qigong. That one, I think we did that this week. So you can just make those little tiny circles where you can go to one direction and then change the other direction. Really feeling your hips, feeling your glutes engage, starting to feel a bit more of a stretch down the back of the leg. Those of you who are in down dog, you might have already started to experience that stretch. Circle in the other direction. Beautiful. And then come back to the center. Now we're going to take I'm not going to mirror you here because I think I might get screwed up. So your left foot, and just put your left foot straight. Turn the right foot out, bend the right knee, and then come back, bend this knee, and lift those toes. So from the side, it looks like this. You're bending, you're coming back, and lifting these toes. So bending and coming back. Yeah. Forward and back. So now you're going to feel this quad is kind of activating. Perfect. And then place that foot down, face it straight, turn this one out, just bend over. So we're kind of bending over the foot, which if we were in warrior 1 or 2, we're not going to do that movement. But here we're just getting a stretch in our quad muscle a little bit more and our calf. Beautiful. And then come back to the center. Now we're going to have both feet out and we're going to make that movement side to side. So we come up to the center and then we bend and up to the center and we bend. So now our knee is gliding over the foot and the ankle. Okay. Stretching again the quads, but this time a little bit more in the adductors. Okay, now here, bring your hands to your heart, and then we're just going to pulse down and up, pressing into the palms and pressing into the feet. When you rise up, squeeze your glutes a little bit and come down and press up. That's it. Down and press up. And so from the side, we have a really more or less kind of a straight back. We're not really sticking it out. This is more prep for goddess pose, not for squat. Good. Now, next time you come down, hold here. And then just open your arms into that cactus shape. That's it. Hold here. While you're holding, focus on consciously opening the knees over the ankles. Squeeze your glutes a little bit. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Don't worry too much about the arms. Take one more deep breath. Now, if you can, lift up the toe and lower the heel. Lift up the toe, lower the heel, and then maybe lift up both toes. Or, I'm sorry, heels, Noelle, not your toes. You're lifting up your heels. Hold for one more breath. I know you're getting sweaty, and then lower. Release your arms. rise up, give your legs a little bit of a shake. Good. And actually just kind of closing that movement, let's come into eagle legs. So let's take, I'll mirror you, take the left leg across the right, bend the knees a little. So like this, the back is straight. Good. Then take that left arm under the right arm, give yourself a hug, or come into eagle arms. Breathing deeply, feeling a stretch not only in the shoulders, and slowly releasing, letting that go. And then we'll close this side, taking the right foot over. And then seeing if you can just kind of rest that back knee in the front leg. And then hugging yourself or wrapping your arms in eagle. Nice deep breaths. And release. Give your shoulders a nice roll up. Beautiful. Come up to the top of your mat. Have a block if you need. Sorry, I just need to take a drink. Good. Now let's come into Tadasana, mountain pose. Lifting up through the crown of the head. Maybe we feel the earth under our feet. So we're feeling that connection and compassion with the earth. Our heart is open. Compassion for our bodies, breathing, noticing our breath, noticing how our body's feeling. And then when you're ready, take a nice upward salute. And a forward fold, hands to the block or the mat. Inhale, let your hands come up to your knees in a flat back. And exhale, fold. We're going to step back with the right foot, dropping the knee, rising up and lunge. Squeeze that right glute. Feel the stretch in the front of the hip. Nice deep breath here. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat, to the block. Lift the right knee, and then see if you can rise up in a crescent lunge. Pressing those right toes in. Exhale, make that forward fold, step the right foot up, and then roll up or reach out and rise up, and then come back into Tadasana. Take another breath. And then inhale, upward salute. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold again. Left foot steps back. Press the toes in. Drop the knee. Rise up in your lunge. Squeeze the left glute. Feel the stretch happening in the front of the left hip. The hip flexor, the psoas, the iliopsoas complex. Nice deep breath. Exhale the hands back to the block. Lift that left knee if you want. And come into a crescent lunge. Having the left heel lifted off the mat. It's only a suggestion. Nice deep breath. And then exhale, forward fold, and step that foot up. Reach out, rise up, or roll up. And release. Now, holding on to a wall or a chair if you need to, we're going to take our right foot and we're going to cross it over onto the left. So we're like a standing figure 4. So holding onto the wall, take that foot up, bend the opposite knee. Back is straight. You can hold on to that foot, or if you want to practice balance, you can bring your hands to your heart. Or not. Sitting as low as you can, keeping your back straight, feeling that stretch in the right hip. And when you're ready, release that side. Give that leg a little shake. And then we'll do the other side. Better turn around for this one. And bring that foot up. And just start to sit back. Find that place that feels a stretch in the hip. Stop there. Breathe. Only sit lower once you relax that hip. If you lose your balance like I did, just start again. And then let it go. And give your legs a little shake. Top of the mat, step the right foot back. Come into warrior 2. So opening this left knee over the left ankle. Right foot is engaged. The right glute is engaged. Warrior 2, gazing over the left fingertips. Softening the shoulders. So maybe here you feel strong. Maybe here you feel that safety feeling. You feel maybe healthy. You're holding this pose. It feels good and strong in your body. Sending yourself some love and compassion. This is a nice pose to also, as you're using your drishti or your gaze over the left fingers, sending love or compassion to someone else. Now, without moving your legs at all, just let the right hand come to the right leg, turn the left palm up. Follow it with your gaze as you raise the left arm to the ceiling, coming into joyful warrior. And then slowly coming back into our warrior 2, just experiencing that for a breath. Release. Let your arms come down. Keeping your legs nice and wide, taking your hands to your hips, reach back with the tailbone, let the knees remain bent, and just let your hands slide down. Maybe they land and they're comfortable on your legs, or maybe you take them to the mat. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders. Breathe deeply. And we're pressing into the feet. Slowly roll back up. Turn the left foot at 90 degrees, the right foot at 45, switching into warrior 2 on the right. Finding your warrior 2 pose, feeling nice and strong. And then letting that left hand drop, turning your right palm up, and following it with your eyes, reaching to the ceiling, letting it bring you back into warrior 2. And release. And let that leg release and heel toe your feet or just step them back together. Beautiful. Now from here, we are going to come on our back for a few back strengtheners, stretches, strengtheners, both. So we're going to work a little bit with our core because that really is key to a healthy back. Sometimes our core isn't as strong as we'd like it to be, and then our back jumps in and takes over for some movements that really it shouldn't be doing. And oftentimes that's what happens is we kind of hurt our low back by not engaging our core. So taking your hands, maybe just putting them underneath I have my palms on my mat and the backs of my hands kind of tucked under my glutes a little bit. That's how I like to do leg raises when I'm on the floor, but maybe you just want to grip the side of your mat. That's okay too. So take a moment, feel the shoulder blades, see if you can feel the backs of the ribs as well against the mat. And then we're going to bring your heels as close as you can towards your glutes. But if you look up between your legs, there's space. So you're not too far apart with your legs. They're just hips distance apart. Now, pressing your feet into the mat, you're going to feel the low back flatten and then bring the knees into the chest. And then lower the feet back down. Relax the glutes. The low back curves. Press the feet into the mat. Flatten the low back. Squeeze the glutes. Bring the knees in towards the chest. The low back is flat against the mat. Now lower the feet. Relax the glutes. And you have that curve in the low back. Do that 3 more times. Bringing the knees in. And lowering. Last time. This time, keep the knees in. And we're going to take the right leg up. And then we're going to bring it all the way down without touching the mat. And we're going to bring that knee back in. And all the way up to the ceiling. Lower it all the way down without touching the mat. And bring it back in. Up to the ceiling. Lower it all the way without touching the mat. 2 more times. Bring that knee in. Up to the ceiling. Down. The last one. Bring it in. Up to the ceiling. All the way down without touching the mat. And bring it in. The left leg reaches up to the ceiling. Lower it without touching the mat. Bring it back in. Up to the ceiling. And lower. Bring the knee back in. Up. Lower. Here, 3. 2 more. Up. And lower. Back in. Good job. Last one. And back in. Raise both feet up. Good. And lower slow. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't touch the mat. Back up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice little hug. Massage the low back. Now here, if you found that standing figure 4 very difficult, or you felt like you didn't get a good stretch, you could do the figure 4 stretch here while you're on the ground. Or you can take this figure 4 position and then just bring it into a twist. So dropping your foot and knee over to one side. And now you're going to get a stretch in the IT band a little bit. So you have the option to do either one of those. And then slowly coming back to the center. And switching to the other side. So if you did figure 4 on that side, and you want to do it on this side, or you want to do the figure 4 twist, then you can do that on this side too. And back up to the center, placing both feet onto the mat one more time. And then we're going to come into bridge pose. Couple of options here. Always have the option to use the block, or just put it under there and you can lift off the block just to know that you have that support. If you want to come up into bridge, you have the option to really squeeze the glutes and then lift one leg and lower it, and then lift the other leg and lower it, and try to do about 5 of those on each side. And again, if you want to have that block under you, you can do it with the block under you, or just know that that block is there. But really squeezing the glutes here. This is helping to support your low back. And of course, you have the option to do none of this and just stay up in a bridge pose or waterfall. See some of you going into waterfall. If that feels good, just do that. So lots of different ways to play with inversion. And then if there's any other movements you feel like you need to make or want to make at this point for your hips and low back, or maybe if you're feeling something else, your shoulders or somewhere, feel free to move around. And take advantage of this time to do that. And once you've made all the movements you want to make, just come back into your Shavasana, whether it's seated or lying on the mat. Breathing deeply in and out. Letting go of your practice. And maybe reconnecting with Metta, with compassion. Sending yourself compassion, love, peace, safety, good health, gratitude. When you're ready, take a few deep breaths, sealing your practice and everything that you've experienced and you're feeling inside your heart, preparing to move gently in your own time and coming up to a comfortable seat. And just noticing how you're feeling, connecting with your breath, your body. Notice how your body's feeling now. Let's close our practice with the breath together. We're taking a nice big inhale. Bring all that energy to the heart. Thank you for showing up today to practice, to be compassionate to your bodies, your minds, your spirits, to being here for each other. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. Namaste.